All right, welcome back to another episode of Explore Yarns with your mates. Now we've got a pretty special guest. It's not very often you get this bloke in one spot for long, but with everything that's going on, looks like he's been trapped. So, inspiration to families around the world. What else can I say about you? That's about it, really.
That's about it.
Justin
Don't go
from
too
Tripping
far
a Van.
or find something bad to talk about, mate. Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, not a drama.
Good, mate. I've known Matty for a while now. We sort of both tied up with the ARB crew and we did a trip through the high country probably a year ago now.
Yeah, good
if
year
not a bit
ago.
longer. So we sort of keep in touch now and then and try and help each other out, like throw ideas back and forth, don't we? And,
Yep.
You know, so it's good. Yeah, we're stuck for now, but like things could be worse. We're tied up down at Burleigh here at the Gold Coast. Sort of worked out all right. The car that I'm currently building is just up the road as well, so I've been able to pot around on that. But you know, once it's ready, who knows what we're going to do, mate?
It'll all be on. Well, I guess for those of my viewers that don't know yourself, probably just a quick introduction on who you are, what you're doing, and yeah.
Sweet. So my name, anyway, Justin. So long story short, 4 years ago, I wanted to have 12 months off work and just travel with the family, do the big lap, you know what I mean? Go fishing, camping, take the caravan around Australia, as I think it's on a lot of people's bucket lists to do that. And that's all we ever wanted to do, and we never planned to do anything longer. And I think it was just, there's a couple of things that worked in our favour, mate, that the timing, there wasn't too many families on the road. We all enjoy it, the family does, the kids love it, you know what I mean? And that was nearly 4.5 years ago, and it's just slowly evolved into a bit of a YouTube series, a travel series, social media, working with brands and stuff, sort of similar to what Matty does with his Explore, more on probably a more amateur level, because I do it all myself, you know, but we have fun with the family, and that's it. So we started a page, it's called Tripping a Van, it's on like Facebook and Instagram, and the YouTube is the same, Tripping a Van, but it's Road Trip Australia series, and we just try and put out, I don't know, just honest reviews and feedback and travel vids of the places we go, the gear we use, and keep it relatable to, you know, people like us. We like to say we're just a family of sort of Aussie bogans, mate, having a crack, and that's us. So if you haven't seen us, get around and check it out, man. But yeah, we love it.
Normal everyday Aussies is the best way I'd describe it, which is you know, almost bloody hard to come by these days.
Well, it's funny that, isn't it? It sort of is. It's a bit of a shame.
So you obviously got the whole tribe. So that's 3 kids.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
So for everyone that wasn't aware, 3 kids, you and the missus,
2 boys and a girl.
And when you started, they were only young, eh?
Tiny, mate. So they got 2 boys and then a girl, and then Charlie was 6 months old when we left.
Crazy.
And the lads were 2 and 3.5 now. Jack's 7. And we got 5, and Charlie's bloody 4.5. So yeah, it's the thing we love about, I reckon, most of what we've done over the last 4 years is that our kids don't know any different. Yeah, you know, like they've grown up doing what they do or what we do. They love it, and they've been in a caravan travelling longer than they've ever been in a house. Yeah,
it's pretty wild. It's sick, hell of a way to grow up. Like, absolutely epic way to grow up. I think so, yeah. And they love it. They're such good kids. Every time I met up with them, like they got their own personalities, and then obviously, you know, some people might wonder what it's like for kids growing up and living on the road rather than being in, I don't know, I guess normal
mainstream
setup.
Society,
but you know, if anything, I'd say they're advanced for their age. Like they probably pick up so much more meeting other kids on the road, and you know, there's not too many. How old's Jack?
Jack's 7.5.
7.5.
So it is. One of the biggest questions we get through our socials from a lot of people is like, aren't you worried about the kids not having friends, and how do you know what I mean? Don't they get bored and this and that? Well, people don't understand how many families there is on the road now. Yeah. You know, like we can't. Everywhere we go, there's kids everywhere. There's travelling families everywhere. They make friends. Yes, then we move on, and they don't keep those long-term friends. Yeah. But in a way, we see they're sort of they grow by making new friends all the time. It's like it's a bit of a trait that you lose these days because no one's We see a lot of young kids. They're not confident, you know.
Yeah.
They're not outgoing enough to go.
I was going to say, your kids are definitely confident, and it's probably something they've picked up along the road is how to make new friends, and they're not shy to go up and probably say g'day. And
as soon as we pull up and they see another bunk fan somewhere, they're straight over there going, hey, who's coming for a kick the footy? Or you know, who wants to ride their bike?
Look, it's one hell of a lifestyle, I think, and you know, I'd hate to imagine how many cars are on and families are going to be on the road by the time I might be ready to buckle down and have a couple. But I'd love to, you know, that's definitely probably a plan for mine. You know, we'll keep pushing, explore, and doing what we're doing while I can. But yeah, I think one day, you know, the van, pack up, lap of Oz.
Yeah.
A proper lap of Oz where it's not rushed, you know, you guys.
That's it, man.
How many times have you been around Australia now? 3?
3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you started, it wasn't the plan to no. You just sort of.
We just wanted 12 months off. I wanted to find somewhere else to live and work. Background on me, I'm a diesel fitter, plant mechanic by trade, so I was working in the coal mines in the Hunter Valley before we left. And the only reason we left is because the coal price fell through the arse and the pit I was at shut, got a redundancy, which sort of bought our van, which is a bit of a blessing in disguise. But they originally just wanted to just have a break, you know?
Yeah.
I was sick of doing 70, 80 hour weeks at night shift and shift work in the mines. But looking back is a good thing because it's, I don't know, it fills your bank account up, you know, and it enables us to do this and set us up well.
Yeah.
But if that pit never shut, we'd still be there, you know?
Yeah.
I'd still be there.
Because you obviously, you know, where were you living?
Newcastle.
Yeah. And what's Beck's background? What is she?
Beck's a nurse, so she was a medic in the Defence Force, same as I was a diesel fitter in the Defence Force. And so now she's an enrolled nurse doing her RNs through uni while we travel.
Yeah, right.
But she hasn't had to stop and do work, So nor have I, which is, mate, it's sick.
Yeah.
Well, I don't say we don't work, but this is what we do now.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
It's a lot of work in filming and editing, but it's something that I love, and it's a hobby that has turned into a career and lets us stay on the road.
Yeah.
And not only that, we pride ourselves on trying to put out good info for others to learn from us and be able to go and do it themselves. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, if anyone at home's watching and they're looking at doing a trip around Australia or even, you know, whether they've got kids or not, whether you're looking at towing a van around, your channel's definitely the place to go to suss out which caravan parks. And obviously when you're on the road for as long as you guys are, you want to be kind of budget conscious. So I'm sure going and staying in caravan parks is something that you'll do every now and again, but you probably try and avoid it, I'd imagine.
We do, mate. Well, it's sort of, no offence to all the parkies out there, but we call them soul destroying and life sucking. They're just, once you've found, you go to all the cool places, the free camps, national park campsites, beach camps.
Yeah.
When you roll back in, yes, it's a part of van life. You do have to hit van parks to charge up and do washing now and then, although and the kids to go and swim in a pool and play. And not only that, sometimes there isn't anywhere else to stay along a stretch of coastline or wherever else. And the best place to stay and the best real estate will be a caravan park. But mate, for honestly, I think average price of a van park now is about $65 a night when you've got 3 kids, if not more.
That's pretty wild.
It's bullshit, mate. They probably, standard price is $45 a night and they charge anywhere from $10 to $15 per kid.
Kids should be free. Hey?
I would have thought so, mate. But anyway, so we steer clear of them as much as we can because it just chews your budget up too much, mate. Anyone that leaves, we still try and work. Everyone asks us how much it is. We try and work on $1,000 a week. I know that it sounds like a freaking lot of money, and it is. It's like 52 grand a year, right?
Yeah.
But fuel, food, accommodation are your 3 biggest expenses.
Yep.
And then you've still got all the shit at home, mate. Phone bills, car insurance, car rego, you know what I mean? Breakdowns, everything else. So you need to have that bit of a float to make sure you can be stress-free and have a good trip.
I'm sure you have some weeks where it costs you nothing when you're remote.
Yep.
And you're living out of what's in the freezer. And then the next week, $65 a night in a van park, and something goes wrong on the car. Yeah. And you bloody there goes a couple grand. So
no, it isn't a cheap way to travel. The only way to make it cheaper is to slow down. The slower you travel, the cheaper it is. Less running costs.
Yeah, true. Yeah, less fuel, less maintenance, and if you're in a free camp, well, you can sit there for
less accommodation.
Less com.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Eh? Well, it's pretty interesting, the whole van life thing. I've I've only towed a van once, to be legitimately honest. Cruiser van.
Yeah, sick. Yeah.
And it was an absolute weapon, and it was a hell of an experience to pull over and walk into a caravan that was like everything was set. Like, it's pretty sick to have your home away from home. And I guess that might be another question. Like, you house-wise, you guys don't have a house or a home base. You are 100% on the road. Yeah. That is your home, the car, the van.
Yeah. It is. That's it, mate. We sort of, I don't know. It's a bit frustrating sometimes. The social media world thinks we must have won the lotto, or, you know, we've got cash coming out of our. But we don't, mate. We've got one car, one van. Yeah. That's our lifestyle. That's our choice, and we love it. You know, we don't have a house at home or nothing to go back to, and that's the way we like it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, well, I've got some Instagram questions for the end. A few people have sent some in, and you know, one of them that always comes up with anything we do is like, how do you afford to do it? And I think that is a very important part that people probably don't understand. Is you don't have your house at home. You're not doing kitchen renovations. No. That is your house and car rolling on wheels.
Yep, and we've only got one of each. You know, every other family at home, they'd have two cars.
Two cars,
sure.
one for the missus. Yeah, and then two lots of running costs. And,
no, it's definitely. Yeah, it's a great way to live, mate. For us, anyway, it's stress-free, debt-free.
Do you think there's a time frame where, you know, maybe you'll want to pull up stumps and let the kids have a bit more of a normal life? Or
yeah, no, I do. I think probably more so. I don't think the kids will be a drama because they've grown up doing it. I don't think it's going to be an issue for them whether we keep doing it or not. I think it'll more become tougher on Beck and I for like say schooling. So we've got two kids doing distance ed now. So we homeschool in the Caravan or distance ed. Next year Charlie will be enrolled. We'll have 3 kids to teach in the Caravan. And I think as they grow up and the schooling gets harder, that will be what puts a limitation on us. You know what I mean? So we'll be trying to, we could keep doing it, but we'd have to stop the whole YouTube, you know what I mean, social media side of it. We wouldn't have time for the kids and to keep running the business side of it. And we're always very mindful of why we hit the road in the first place. And that was to slow down, spend more time with the kids, you know what I mean, and enjoy life, have a conscious lifestyle choice. And I don't want to lose that work-life balance back to being, you know, and not being able to do my stuff with the kids because I've got to go and edit a video or something because that's how we get paid. And we're very conscious of that. So I think we just try and keep doing what we do now, building up an audience like you guys. We've got some really good brands behind us who just love supporting the lifestyle, which is great. So hopefully we keep them on board. And just keep building it up, and then we can get a base in a couple of years, and maybe like I can start doing some boys trips, you know, come along on some of your vids.
We'll swap.
Yeah, that's it. You know?
You'll be doing the more one-off trips and back to the home base, and I'll hit the road.
Yeah, so it's all doable, you know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it was sort of, that's our rough plan. But for the next 2 years, we've got, the plans have changed pretty dramatically in the last few weeks with the whole coronavirus. Hence why we're sitting so far apart.
Yeah.
But we had some big plans this year, but that'll just have to happen next year.
Yeah. So I suppose we'll touch on that. I'm not going to get into Corona, but obviously there'll be a bit of a delay before anyone can really get going and hit the road again, and border closures and all the national parks and caravan parks, I think, throughout Queensland, New South are now shut.
Yep.
So is there a bit of a strategy in a couple months' time of where you guys are going to head? Probably more Queensland-based?
Yeah, mate, we're just going to stick to Queensland. There's no point. Even if they lift restrictions and you could go, it's going to be the wrong time of year, you know? So our big plans for this year was Gibb River Road, Arnhem Land, Cape York. And honestly, this is going to be, if you read the writing on the wall, they're going to be a long time before we can actually go and explore
most
a
of
bit
this
more.
year is pretty much going to be shot.
So by the time it comes around, it'll be wet season up the top end, and there's our 3 locations for this year pretty much shot. So, excuse me. I think we'll just explore Queensland, mate. So many inland dams and impoundments and coastal fishing camps that we haven't really explored before because we haven't had the setup, which we'll probably get to, I reckon, because I've got some pretty cool new gear coming this year, and we'll be able to change up what we do and sit put in a lot of those spots. So you just, it's disappointing as it is for everyone, but you know, you just adapt and
it is
overcome.
what it is. That's it. Well, before we do get stuck into all of the car and new van setup, I guess I just wanted to touch on like where did the passion for this all come from? Like, is it something that you grew up doing, camping as a young fella, or full driving, or is it something you got into at an older age?
Oh, probably a bit of both, eh? Like I always, school holidays growing up, I grew up in between Brizzy and the Sunny Coast, around Burpengary, Redcliffe area.
Yep.
Every school holidays we were over at Moreton Island most of the time, you know,
Yep.
or we'd go over to Bribey and up the beach there, sort of thing. The old man had an old Land Rover Defender with a Holden motor in, I think it was a red motor maybe,
Yeah.
that we put in the shed. And the cousins and everyone would go over, and when North Shore over at Moreton still had the shacks available, we'd all bunk up in the shacks over there, the old fishing shacks. And I think that sort of side of it has come through, but I never had a full drive until I was, I don't know, like 25 or something, you know. I didn't grow up, I never had one. And I'm still not into the whole hardcore forward driving scene. It's just more the touring and the destinations, you know.
Yep.
Love the beach stuff. And I think the passion for the four-wheel drive and the setup comes from the ability to get to those joints.
Yep.
You know, and I just want to be able to get there, show the family, have fun, go fishing, camp there, all that, and then get home. You know.
Yeah.
So if there's a mud puddle, I'll freaking drive around it. That's me.
Yeah, I think you grow out of mud puddles real quick. We had a weekend up Glasshouse. Not a weekend, but yeah, we did it. We did an Explore Life ep, which will have already come out by the time this airs. And you know, it was pouring rain, it was mud, it was slippery, and all you do is break shit and carry on. And we haven't done too much hard wheeling for a while, and we still didn't hit the hard tracks at Glassy. I used it as a track to run from Bribey through out the back up towards the Conondale National Park. So we basically stuck to what they call the power line track. It was basically the main run, and of course I bloody broke something. We put a trailer on its side. The car's still covered in mud. There is nothing good about mud. Nah. Absolutely nothing. It's all fun and games when you're 18 and your car isn't worth a fortune. But
that's it.
Well, all right. So that's where the sort of passion come from. Something, you know, you just sort of almost fell into a bit of it when you were a young fella and the dad. See, I was pretty similar. My old man, every now and again we might go away, they'd stay in a cabin and we would camp. But mum and dad, I don't know why they didn't take us camping. I wish they bloody had it.
It's too hard, mate.
Yeah, probably. He grew up full driving and doing everything I'm doing when he was sort of my age, and then had kids and sold the full drive. Probably, thanks, mum.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
That's probably what happened. I guess a lot of people are probably interested in, and this is something we spoke about with Sammy, and it's probably one of my more asked questions as well, is like the transition from full-time working to full-time on the road. Now, mine and Sam's is probably quite a bit different to how you guys have sort of done it, because it wasn't with the intention really to be a business. But maybe just touch base on how you went from working full-time to hitting the road, and then how that transitioned into an income.
Well, I haven't thought about that for a while, but it was honestly, it was probably one of the hardest parts of it.
Yeah.
You know, I was always so damn busy that, and all you wanted to do was go away, right? And I was so excited to do it. But then as soon as you hit the road, I found it was a good, and you'd have to ask Beck, but I reckon it was a good 4 to 6 months before I could actually slow down.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and enjoy it.
Just used to pumping,
Yeah, I was always like, we'd get somewhere, we'd spend a day, and I'd be ready to freaking go again. And Beck's like, what are you, man? And I'm like, oh, we got to get, we're running out of time. We got to do this. Because when we first left, it was like 12 months, let's go. And you sort of think it's such a big country, we need to race through it, but you really don't. You can take your time and spend 3 or 4 days in each spot and still see it all in a good 12-month trip. But it took me a long time just to calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a big transition, and because it's a mindset too, I'd been working for 16 years, I think, about that. And then you're just like, 12 months off, got to make the most of it, you know? So you've got all these plans in your head and you want to hit all these fishing spots, you want to do all this stuff.
Yep.
And it was such a blur the first 6 months, mate. And really, the second 6 months was way more enjoyable, you know? Because I'd learnt, we got halfway around the country and I'd realised I'd missed all these bloody spots. And that just because I was trying to do too much,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's different. That's probably the hardest thing, the transition, And then, there was another big changeover period after about 18 months on the road when it sort of turned into a bit of a business for us. That's when it's a lot to learn, man.
Yeah.
You know, coming from being like just a truckwit in a coal mine to trying to run social media and create an online income, it was a big learning curve, eh? Yeah.
So I mean, I'm plumber for 10 years. That was my background. So I was quite similar in the fact that social, I sort of fell into it, and I had to learn as I was going as well. So there's no marketing background or no digital marketing or anything like that. But as far as, was there a point when you were on the road where you were like, okay, well now we either sort of head back, or now, you know, this has actually got legs and we might be able to sustain being on the road?
No, it was about 13 months into it. We just finished our first lap because we stayed on that 12-month time frame. And then it was only about a month before we got back to down in Warrnambool, where Beck's from. We got an email from Mazda saying, hey guys, we're looking for ambassadors for the Mazda brand. We had a BT50 already, and they said, oh, would you like to jump in our new model BT50? And this is all new to us. This is the first email or first company that ever approached us or anything. Never thought about creating a social media presence or doing anything, and we're just like, what the, you know, what's doing here? And then so I sort of, our car was already kitted out with just a flexiglass canopy and dual batteries, drawers and lift.
Because what were you in at that point?
It was a BT. I'd bought a 2012 BT50 as a lease car in the mines and paid it off before we left and that sort of stuff. So I'm guessing that's what it, you know, they'd seen us doing what we're doing in it and maybe saw some potential in it. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's all well and good, Mazda, but like, I just don't want to trade back, you know what I mean? Standard thing. And they're like, no, we'll kit it out how you want it, and just we want a bit of exposure on the new model BT50, and we like what you guys do, and it's just genuine family fun. And we're like, oh, righto. And it was really good to work for, like genuinely no strings attached, just a brand that wanted to see their car getting used the way they want them to get used. And that was the turning point.
That's when you went, righto, well maybe this is, we can live off, keep going and do a bit more.
We're like, well, if they're going to give us a car, we still have to travel, and then if we still have to travel, we need to make a bit of money to, you know, we'd already burnt our 56 grand or something that year that we'd saved to travel. So that's when we started to learn a whole heap about social media and all that sort of stuff. And
so who's more the social media per?
Straight up there.
So you obviously, I know you do the filming, you do the editing. And then so you run the social as well.
No, Beck.
Okay, so Beck runs the social media.
So I pretty much take. Oh, she's going to shoot me, but I take all the photos. No, I take a lot of the pics. Beck does the editing and like on photos to get them to social status, and we try not to do too much. She might crop and adjust a few things here and there, but we try and keep it real, because there's nothing worse than showing up somewhere and you've seen a photo of someone's post, right? And you're like, oh, that's great, I want to go there. And you go there and it looks nothing freaking like a photo, you know? I don't want to be those sort of guys. So everything we do, we might touch up a few things, or Beck likes to take a few wrinkles out of her face, but so, and then I just stick to the video editing and the YouTube side of it and dealing with the business side of it. So I do all the books and like that sort of stuff, you know? Because it gets busy, man. You got to learn how to invoice and get an accountant and do all that stuff. And I'm not saying we don't make a lot of money, but you still have to be legit, you know? You can't work, as you know, you can't work with people like brands unless you're set up properly.
And there's the amount of just back end bullshit that has to happen to sustain what you do, and constantly, you know, reach out to brands and make sure all the back end's taken care of, just, you know, weekly bills and stuff. I know how hard it is for me to do it, to the point where I've now got a shed so I can have all my shit, and I've actually got a PA now that sort of looks after that. So I don't know how you do it from the road and you edit yourself. So bloody, I take my hat off to you.
It's good. One thing I've got to say is that, my wife Beck, she is a good egg, and it's teamwork. You can't do it without teamwork, you know. If one person didn't want to do it, you wouldn't even bother. You couldn't, mate.
You both got to have the same passion for it. And then on top of trying to run the business, do the editing and filming, you got 3 kids charging in the bloody back. I need to quit me whinging, I know that much. Well, while we're touching on editing, something that I do like to know for any sort of young, inspiring YouTubers out there, is there any advice you'd have for whether it's families on the road or whether it's young couples that are deciding to hit the lap for a year, or just anyone trying to have a crack at YouTube? Like, what would be your advice to just get started? Just a basic startup kit.
I'd reckon if that's your goal, to hit the road and do that, probably practice at home first. We use Final Cut Pro because I run a MacBook Pro, and it integrates well and it's a sick program. And the biggest thing that I've found with video editing is you just need to learn one program and stick with it.
Yeah.
Because it takes you so long to learn it. And so for me, like iMovie, everyone's got an iPhone mostly, right? iMovie is like Final Cut's little brother.
Right.
You know, and Final Cut's like iMovie on steroids.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to transition from iMovie to Final Cut.
Okay.
So if that's all you've got, an iPad and a phone, you can start making clips at home on iMovie.
Yep.
And then when you do, if you want to move into it, Final Cut's about $500 to actually get the program, but it's really easy to transition. Watch a few YouTube tutorials on it.
Yep.
And you can learn a lot, you know?
Yeah.
And one thing is, don't worry about getting too fancy. You see a lot of the big, you know, Instagrammers and YouTubers, there's a lot of fancy transitions and titles and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
You don't need that, You just got to tell your story, be honest, genuine, be a good bloke or a good chick, and just, you know, to think about it. What would you like to see if you watched a vid? You know, bit of info on where to go, how to get there, how much it costs, and I don't know, be yourself.
Yep.
What do you do around the place? You know, don't set up too many shots for. It's just people just like watching it and sort of feeling involved. This is my take on it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty similar to what me and Sammy said, is just start simple. One tip that I've found when people are like, how do you talk to a camera? How I learnt, I think, was
practice.
It just takes time. So my advice to anyone that wants to get better on camera is Instagram stories.
Yeah.
Sit there and just learn to just dribble to yourself. Second biggest key, don't watch it back, just put it up, because raw is better. If you try and watch your videos back and you got a hair out of place, or something's going on, or your eye looks weird, like. Instagram stories is how I got quite confident to be on camera, I think. And then, as far as gear goes, I always say to people, just grab yourself a GoPro, and that's the easiest way to start.
Cheapest, $500, mate, and you've got probably 80% of my footage is still GoPro.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the best example out there at the moment is old Brody Moss. I don't know if you follow
that's
him.
all he uses. Yeah.
He's got no fancy transitions. He's just got a GoPro and that's it.
Yeah.
And a GoPro and a drone. And so when I do my filming, obviously I have a crew that films my professional, my premium series. All I use is a GoPro 7 and a drone, and that's my vlog series.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's just simply cut together, and there's nothing fancy. I guess for the people out there that maybe already are YouTubers or Instagrammers, maybe just run through real quick what I know you run a better camera, so you've obviously got your GoPro 8s and your drones.
So we've slowly evolved, mate, into, we started with, when we first left, with just bloody phones, mate. We never had any camera gear. We didn't think we'd need it.
Yep.
And then we went to like a Canon Coolpix, I think, from memory, like an auto zoom thing, and then that fell off a tripod and smashed. And then I got a GH4, a Panasonic GH4, and then I get my info right. I've got a good mate who's a wedding videographer.
Yeah.
So I've always just asked him.
Yeah.
And he sort of just goes, I'll get this good value for money, so that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been an evolution of growth for us with camera gear. And now we run a Sony a7 III is our main video and stills camera. But that's mainly for good scenic video. I don't use that for like talking and, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because the rest of it's just
I just use GoPro with Hyper Smooth, and I've got a Mavic 2 Pro drone. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I got the Mavic Pro, and then my videographer's got the Mavic Pro 2, and I think I want to get the 2.
Just one thing, there's no point going out and spending all this money, right, when you just hit the road or you're just starting, because what happens if you spend 12 months and you don't like it or nothing works, you know what I mean? You've wasted a shit ton of money.
Not to mention drones specifically, like if you could pick up a second-hand Mavic Pro and learn to fly with something cheap.
I can guarantee you'll crash your first drone.
100%. My first drone, 30 minutes in, I was in my backyard and I put it, no shit, 30 metres up in a gum tree.
Yeah.
About 3 hours later, we had my old man, I had to get my old man over. He stood there with a fishing rod and we had the fishing line. I put that around a tennis ball and then duct taped it onto the tennis ball. And then I had to use a tennis racket and hit the tennis ball. It's the only way I could get it 30 metres up.
Yeah.
So I got 30 metres up with the tennis ball over the branch, and then he'd hang on to the rod, and I was hanging on to the tennis ball, and we were shaking the branch. And then I had like two of my mates and my sisters there holding a sheet, getting ready to catch the drone. So look, you're definitely going to crash the drone. There's no ifs, buts or maybes. I did a trip in the Northern Territory, a TIFF that we just put up, and you know, we're remote as hell, but I'm driving. TIFF doesn't have a manual license, so I'm driving. She's holding the steering wheel. I'm flying the drone, and we come to a Y intersection, and she didn't know which way to go, so she sort of just stayed in the middle, and so I've hit the brakes on the car and just drone straight in the back of the truck. You can't do 4,000 things at once, so
that happens.
Get something cheap and just get out there and have a crack. And one thing I procrastinated on for way too long was quality, and now I've gone from just having professional stuff to now just pumping out heaps more RAW and GoPro. And
you don't worry about 4K stuff. All my vids are in 1080 at 50, and then our series is also on free-to-air telly, like Channel 31, Channel 44. They dumb it down even further. So for me,
720.
For me to submit anything to a TV station is 1080 by 720 or something. Like, it's so, you know. So you don't need to shoot in 4K and get all the flash stuff. Get a GoPro.
4K takes longer to edit it. It's bigger files, and then no one bloody watches it anyway.
Let alone try and put those files on your computer. They're that massive. You need a $10,000 laptop that's got a hard drive big enough to take it.
Yeah.
And then they render. And they take so long to edit because they're such big files. It's not even worth it, mate.
No, simple's best.
Yep.
All right, let's get into the fun stuff. Cars and vans. Grab another one. So obviously you have the BT50.
Currently,
still have the BT50, I should say. Very well decked out with all the gear. We won't go into it too much because you got the new one being built at the moment, which I got a sneak peek of yesterday actually. And then you have the Willow van, which 20 foot 6? 20?
20 foot 9.
20 foot 9?
Yeah.
And you've had that for how many years now?
No, only 12 months, that
12
one.
months,
Yep. So we've been through a couple of vans along the way. Same thing, it's just an evolution, you know, as we learn. We were absolute novices when we left, so we had an on-road van.
True.
Yeah, and just a standard sort of the BT with a lift, that was it.
Yeah.
And then we've just evolved because you sort of realise the places you want to go and the gear you need. So you have to change your setup, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the BT is pretty well set up, just a canopy and a lift and not too much stuff, you know. Like it's
2-inch lift, 32s,
33s. Yeah, and then just a canopy bull bar winch. Fridge and whatnot in the background, and the van's really good. Like, it's been an evolution, like I said, but that's a 20 foot 9.
Would you call it a semi off-road?
No, it's a weird setup. Like Willow they're not an off-road brand, but they run off-road suspension, right?
Yeah.
So the quality of them is good enough, as in they're built as strong or stronger than an off-road premium model, right?
Yeah.
But they don't want to be in that supermarket, like in that market. They build a lightweight tear van, which suits us perfectly with the Mazda because you don't have such a big payload and towing capacity. But they run premium stuff under it, the Cruise Master off-road suspension. So as long as with a van, as long as you've got ground clearance and good suspension, you can pretty much go anywhere. You don't need bar work on it. You don't need all that fruit and snot. You know, you just need something that's going to get through dips and washouts and have good independent suspension that gives your van a nice ride to stop all your shit shaking apart inside. Yeah,
chances are if you're dragging a van anywhere that needs bar on the side, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
We'll just unhook and take the swags. You know?
Yeah, cool. So that's something we should also probably touch on. We'll do that now while we're talking about it. So if, let's just say, what's a good example? Give me a good example of where you decide to leave the van and then you guys just take off in the car.
Oh, swags, yeah. So let's talk Dirkartop Island in WA, you know. No way you'll get a van over there. You can only take small campers across on the barge.
Yep.
And that was sick. But, you know, I wouldn't even take my van out to Steep Point. People do, but that road can be freaking hectic. You can leave it at a place called Hamlin Station. There's a lot of places around the country, stations, caravan parks, or even storage yards.
Yeah.
And we just do our research and we'll like leave our van somewhere. You pay $10-15 a night to store it there.
Yeah.
And we just take the swags, deck the ute out with food and stuff, and we just disappear. You know, we've got enough water and we can put enough water and food in to probably go 5 or 6 nights at the most in the swags, let alone, but our limit's usually 3 or 4 because of the squeeze. But that's Dirkartop's probably the best, you know what I mean, example of it, because you travel all the way around the damn country and you get out, you know, and then you don't want to miss out on it.
Correct.
You know, because you want to come if you get all the way back and then just do one trip to go to Dirkartop, you got to go all the way around the freaking country again.
Yeah.
So to be able to have 2 self-sufficient setups is for us is mint.
So anyone thinking about doing a trip with a van, you've done the lap 3 times now. You are probably going to miss a bit if you have, because there's certain spots you can't get the van. So you would obviously recommend having the ability to dump the van and have some other form of accommodation, and the car set up well enough to carry a little bit of water and enough food and fuel that you can get out and do some of those spots.
Totally, yeah.
So I guess most people know what the setup is, but you just run 2 swags, is that right?
2 doubles, so the ARB, the Skydome doubles.
Yeah.
We'll probably get 1 more year out of them, because we've got the 3 kids go in one,
they're getting a bit
and
bigger.
me and the missus in the other. But they're starting to get a bit big for that.
Yeah.
It'll be alright this year. We might have like Charlie in with us, and the 2 boys have the swag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's starting to get a bit of a squeeze.
Yeah.
But it's really hard, you know. I don't want to. Swags are the ideal option because everything's in one.
Yeah, it's
you know, your bedding, your tent, your pillow,
yeah.
everything's in the one thing. Swag bag on the roof, forget about it until you use it next.
Reasonably light as well.
Oh, I don't think that ours rolled up in the swag bag are 18 kilos each.
Okay. They're big doubles.
They're big doubles, yeah. But then you think about a tent, you might be able to get smaller tents and lighter stuff, but then you've got to have, here's your tent,
separate,
here's your sleeping mats or your mattresses, here's your sleeping bags, here's your, and like it might all accumulatively be lighter, but you try putting all that shit somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't. It's just, it's hectic. We've tried it. That's where we first started with, tried to go like an Oz tent. So it wasn't the old 30-second one, it was a different Oz tent.
Yeah.
That with like self-inflating mattresses, sleeping bags. Mate, it was a freaking nightmare, eh? Yeah, it was so bad. But it enabled us to go to these places, like we did the Cape in it and that, but you try and pack up every day or second day and move to another spot, it gets
That's
big.
the best thing about swag,
old,
because you just leave everything in it and you roll it up.
And the kids do it, mate. The kids can do it in about 2 minutes. They can set it up, pack it up.
Let them roll yours up.
Yeah.
Happy days. Yeah. All right, so let's talk this car. So it's probably, by the time this comes out, you've been running through a lot of videos on it anyway. Yeah. But run us through what's the new bus.
So, mate, over the last few years, we've been like planning, researching. Like everyone's going to have a different ultimate sort of build or tourer, you know. So, and that's everyone's different. So you're going to want something that suits your own needs. But for us, it's everything we've just talked about. Being able to have 2 self-sufficient sort of setups, which we do already, but we're limited in payload and towing capacity, right? Yeah. And I'm a mad keen fisho, and the places I've been over the last 4 years and not had a tinny, it has done my head in.
I can imagine.
To be able to see
the
people camping next door to us would come in with freaking Spanish mackerel and blue bone and barra, trout and barra, and here's me trying to catch a friggin' barracuda off the rocks. You know, you just need to get out that 500 metres to hit a bit of reef and stuff. So that's been my main goal and a dream to get a tinny. Yep. And which we've done now. But the only way to do it was to build a new car that had big GVM and a big GCM, a big brake towing capacity. I went through the whole thing. And of course, all the keyboard warriors had a shot at me going, "Why didn't you get a Ram? Why didn't you get a Chevy?" Anyway, I don't want a friggin' Ram. I don't want a Chevy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is my car. This is what suits us. And
isn't it wild how much, like, because I've just done released the new 79. Yeah. Holy dooly. Everyone's telling me what car I should have bought.
Everyone's an expert.
It's a personal opinion and preference, and it has to suit what you're doing. It
has to do, you know, you're going to spend, I don't know, it's costing me a bucket load of coin, and it doesn't faze me because I know it's going to suit us down to a T. But when you actually do all the research...
Have we said what it is yet?
No, I haven't. No. It's not a Chevy and it's not a Ram. But it's a 200 series Land Cruiser. But it's not a standard model. It's a GXL, which is pretty standard.
Yeah.
But we've cut it in half and we've fitted a J-Max rear end and put a Norwell canopy on it. Because that's just what we need to do what we want to do. You know, I've researched into the whole thing. Yes, American trucks, you can get something with a bit better payload straight out of the factory and all this, but mate, they're not brand new. They've been converted, you know. Yeah. And once you start talking to people who use them, 9 times out of 10 they have conversion issues with it, like electronics and all the other snot.
And not to mention, I think a big one that people don't understand is, let's talk RAM.
Yeah.
Payload, they don't have any payload. So for everyone that's given me strife and is giving you strife,
they don't.
If you get a 1500 Ram and you want to go and tow 4.5 ton, which is what they advertise, you're good for...
You can do that with 2 people in the car and nothing in the tray.
Yeah. So your tray's got to be empty. Once your fuel tanks are full and you put 2 people in the car, you have run out of what they call your GVM. So your gross vehicle mass can't be any heavier. So that's why the Land Cruiser, I mean, shout out to Jace from J-Max, because the solution that he provides, because from standard, the Land Cruisers can't do it.
They're just as bad as anything else.
Correct. Right? Yeah. But with, we actually have a very similar kit that's gone in the back of ours. So yours is a full chassis replacement, and so is mine. Yep. So you can have your car at 4495, which means that gives you your fully self-sufficient setup. And then you can still tow with a 200. It's 4.5. Yeah, 70 is only 4 ton. But
and I mean, we'll never
platform.
We'll never tow 4.5 ton.
No,
but just that able to have that ability.
And you want to stay legal, which is
stay
super
legal.
Important. When you're doing, how many Ks would you do in a year?
Average about 50,000.
Yeah.
When we're travelling normally, you know, just following the season, we do 50,000 Ks.
Yeah. So if you think of a normal person doing 10 to 20,000 Ks on the road, you're more likely for accidents or all sorts of different things. So you want to stay legal.
Yeah. And stay safe, mate. You got the family in the car.
100%.
You know? Yeah. You want it to be able to handle it.
And surely. The kids, they're getting bigger. Surely the BT was getting tight.
No, it was getting tight.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we're on 200 series, canopy, big payload, just the tits. You know what I mean? That's
full canopy setup.
That's the rundown. Full Norwell canopy.
And the tinny's going on the top.
Tinny on top with an LMAC boat loader, outboard in the back.
Yeah. The tinny looks familiar.
Yeah, it's the same tinny. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's a long shaft. You got a short.
Yeah, I got the last of the short shafts.
That's another.
And it looks shit
another
up.
Story.
Painted black. Good looking tinny.
So that's our new rig. It's been a long build process, a lot of planning. I'm gonna have to tell you, I wouldn't have been able to do it without Caleb, who is Pro Touring Concepts, because he project manages the build. So he planned it through him. He's built about 20 of them, probably more in the 79s. And he organises everything, gets it sent off to get converted, and does all that groundwork for you. So we could just keep travelling all last year while this was all getting planned out, you know. And then that's nearly ready, man. We've got, I don't know, probably another week. We were supposed to have it at the Brizzy show at the end of this week.
Yeah. Today.
Today. It's now.
Today was supposed to be the first day of the show.
So, and it's not. We've sort of slowed up because the show's cancelled.
Yeah.
But canopy's on. Boat loader's on. All we got to do is deck it out the canopy now with lithium and sort of fridge and inverter and charger and that.
Yep.
And then we're good to go, mate. Yeah.
While we're on the car, what's the one must-have? We run through them at the end, I guess. Now, what's the one must-have modification for your touring vehicle? You think?
What do I use the most? Probably a good dual battery system and a fridge, man.
Yeah.
If you had to do one thing over a bull bar, over a lift, over anything, it would be a good dual battery system and a fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and what about one awesome camping accessory?
Swag. Shit,
yeah. Just allows you to do what you do.
Swag and an awning. You got to go the awning.
All right, and then let's touch base on the new van. So you've obviously upgraded from the Willow.
Yeah, so we're going to go with a Sunseeker Desert Storm, and it's the next level up from the Willow. So like I was saying, they're a lower weight, a lighter van, so it's a 3200 tear. And Willow, we were talking to Willow, and like they're not keen to build a one-off because it's not their market. You got to think about any sort of business. You got to be able to scale it up so you can actually make money out of it, right?
Yeah.
So they could build a van, but then it's not their market. So we've moved on to Sunseeker, which we've liked for a while, and we could never tow one with the Mazda.
Yeah.
Which is sort of, they've always been in the back of our mind, and we're going to have that. It'll have a 4.5 ton ATM. Not that we'll ever use that.
Yeah, right.
But it's the same groundwork and engineering needed to be done to get either anything over a 3.5 to a 4.5. It's the same in chassis and plates and chains and everything. So it'll be plated 4.5 ton, be 21'6", and probably my favourite thing about it, it probably doesn't sound that great, but I've got the tyres and wheels matched to the Cruiser. Yep. So in essence, I've got 6 spares for the car. Because I'll run 1 spare on the Cruiser, and I'll have 4 and 1 spare on the van. If we get stuck anywhere or do anything, we can just rip them off the van. I think that's I've been wanting that forever. It's such a good peace of mind thing, and it'll have more. It'd be more building it purely to be more off grid to suit the new car setup. So we'll have extra water tanks, extra solar, bigger lithium. And a bigger ATM.
As far as layout goes, very similar.
Yeah, 3 bunks, shower and toilet.
Is it 3 bunks or 4?
4.
Well, I don't know. I just assume.
What do you know?
Why? I just
3 bunks. Yeah.
So what's at the bottom? Like
3 bunks. So you got a bunk on the bottom.
Yeah.
Then a second bunk. Then a third bunk.
Oh right, one side, 3 bunks. For some reason I was thinking 2 on each side.
No. So 3 bunks on one side. Right. Opposite is shower and toilet.
Yeah.
Then you got a kitchen and a lounge room, and then a queen bed up the front.
Yeah.
So similar layout to what we've always had.
Yeah.
But it'll just be we're going to upgrade the suspension to full airbag this time because I'm getting old.
Yeah.
And, I can't be bothered wheeling out wheel chocks.
Yeah.
But not only that, once you start doing all the research, mate, it's going to give this van such a good ride to run on ATX. And, like we told you, all our plans were Give River Road, Arnhem Land, Cape York.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3. Yeah, that's right. So we just wanted to try and set up as best as we could.
Yeah.
But we'll still hit that. It'll be next year. It should be ready to go.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into some of these Instagram questions and wrap it up. We've got, of course, I had them open and now they're all bloody gone, but we'll find them. All right, so we got here. So we've touched on a few of for everyone. Well, someone just said get a 200. Well, guess what, mate? He's all around that. And then
times I've heard that over the last 4 years.
And then a lot of people have also said love the new rig, but did you ever think about buying a Ram? We've covered why it doesn't work. Here's a pretty cool one from.
Oh, actually, can I touch on that?
Yeah.
With the Ram as well. When you've been around the country enough, I have not seen one freaking Ram dealer in any remote or rural community, right?
Yeah.
So can you're just sort of thinking, worst case scenario, I mean, most people are going to endure some sort of breakdown or mechanical issue along the way.
100%.
No one knows how to work on Rams.
And not to mention parts.
So there you go. There's another one that was in one of the big factors for us. We're like,
A lot of people said to me, why don't you get a Ram or a Chevy? And I broke down half up the Tanami on the 76.
Yeah.
An hour later, I had a diff ready to go in Alice.
Yep.
And then when we got there, it was half day. They threw it in and away we went. So, just not a chance with a Ram.
Every remote mining community has about 4,000 Land Cruisers as pit vehicles.
Yeah.
So that, there's mechanics and parts and knowledge everywhere around the country for Toyota.
Maybe in 10 years.
Maybe.
Ram. Yeah. This is a pretty good one from Xavier _Smith. Biggest oh shit moment when travelling, apart from the engine dying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was pretty shit. We haven't had too many, to be honest. I wouldn't say I'm like super cautious, but I don't know. I'm not silly, and I've got a family in the car all the time. So I do the speed limit. I tow within my means and my experience. And if there's something that I don't think I can do, I don't generally do it. You know what I mean? So probably the biggest things maybe is like when you're coming around a corner in the outback somewhere and there's a freaking camel or a cow, you know? That's the unforeseen stuff is probably the biggest oh shit moments.
But you've been pretty lucky. You haven't had to get on the picks for an animal and have.
We've done that, you know, but we've never. And traveling, we don't travel dawn and dusk. You sort of, you know what I mean. You got to like try and minimise those risks, and they're the biggest times, you know. Nighttime driving, dawn and dusk, and like when you're remote, don't do anything too silly, you know. Yeah. Sorry, I'm pretty boring.
When it's a new rig, it's probably done within a month. Most underrated mod, probably a good 12-volt system.
Yeah, probably a good phone holder, mate. Honestly, like one that charges, clips on, doesn't shake, doesn't vibrate, doesn't fall off. That's a freaking awesome mod, eh?
Yeah.
Because everyone's got a phone, everyone slaps it in. I use Google Maps all the time. You're not looking down, you're not fumbling around with it. It's just bang.
That's probably a good point. Something that I'm missing from my setup. I ended up throwing the link system in, and that's sort of where my phone went.
Space.
And now I just haven't put one back.
Yeah.
So.
What'd you learn out of that?
Well, I just need to mount one somewhere else, to be honest. Here's a pretty good question from Tight Ass Travellers. That's bloody shit.
I like that.
Camper or caravan?
Caravan, 100%.
Young family, about to do a lap and unsure which one to go.
Caravan, 100%.
Caravan.
There's a big difference between doable and enjoyable. I'll leave that with you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I will just think, you go on a 3-week trip in a camper and move every few days, and then come home and think about doing that setup and pack up for the next 12 months. I reckon that'll answer your question.
Yeah. It's fair enough.
Yeah, some people can do it, and hats off to you, but I can't. No, there's no freaking way I could still be on the road.
Yeah.
After 6
Big
months,
difference
let alone
between
4
a week
years.
and bloody 12 months.
Campers are sick, and they've all got their place, but I don't. For us, maybe as a couple, you can, do some full-term travel, but family-wise, if you want to enjoy it and the kids to have fun and like have a sick time, caravan.
There you go. Kira_Outback1. Where is the best caravan park in Australia?
Ooh,
that's a gnarly one.
It is a gnarly one. There's a few, but I've got a real soft spot, and it might be a bit boring to everyone, but Coolum Beach Caravan Park up the sunny coast is...
Is that where I come and say g'day?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. When you get up there, mate, and you can just park up, walk down the beach, walk to the shops, walk to the pub, go and get coffee. You know what I mean? You don't have to drive anywhere. You're right on the water. There's heaps of people there.
All right, I don't know. I know you're pretty blasé. You might not know these, but Lidstagram. What is the overall length, width, and height of the Chop 200? Ooh. Now the canopy's installed.
No idea. Sorry. Man.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd bloody know that one.
No. Well, it's
and you're not fully loaded yet, so you wouldn't know your weight.
Oh well, I need about 300, so we'll be about 4 ton without the van.
Yeah. And it'll probably be 6.5 meters long, roughly.
Well, it's had a 650mm extension.
Oh yeah, 200.
And a 1900 canopy.
Might be close to 7 with the bloody wheels.
It's pretty big, man. Yeah. I can find out what I'll do. I'll find out and let Matty know. He can put it in down the bottom.
I'll put those stats down the bottom. And then we'll wrap it up. What is it like travelling around Australia with your kids?
It's sick, mate.
Yeah.
As long as you can't have expectations on it. You have to slow down. You have to have fun, and you just have to spend time with your kids.
Yeah.
It can either, if we've met people that 3 months into their trip, they freaking turn around and go home.
Yeah.
It's just not for them.
Yeah.
But if you love hanging out with your kids and slowing down and enjoying watching them grow up, it's mint. And just don't expect too much of them. Kids are kids. They have bad days. They have tantrums, just like home. And you just got to make it work, eh?
Roll with it. All right, we got one here from this Instagram page called Trip in a Van.
Hey.
Can he let his wife buy more clothes and refrain from saying she doesn't need them?
Oh, how can you let someone buy any more clothes than you, Beck?
I don't know. I'm going to pull you up on something because I seen a video when you guys first started. The amount of fishing gear that you had in your truck.
Yeah.
Terrible fisherman, but your whole car drawers was just fishing gear.
Yeah.
How many fish did you catch?
Yeah. No. Well, you got to aim high, mate. You got to aim high.
How much fishing gear are you gonna have now? You got a tinny.
Yeah, I've really narrowed it down. I know what I need.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. You get carried away. You got to remember that was like back first trip.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to expect. And I just wanted to have set up for every occasion. I didn't want to get to somewhere and not be able to catch something. It was a lot of gear.
It was hilarious. It was like the bloody clown car. The rods just kept coming. It was
but she does all right. Beck, she goes all right. She's got plenty of clothes, mate. Don't worry about that.
Well, I guess you'd have to learn to be live more of just a minimalist lifestyle.
That's probably one of the best parts of it, mate. Is you learn to do without. Oh, it's hard to. You probably think I'm a dickhead for saying this, but without a lot of materialistic things. Even though we've got all this cool setup and gear and stuff, but you don't have all the other stuff you have at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You sort of, I don't know, don't have a shed, you don't have you know what the best thing is? You don't have to mow the grass, mate. Yeah. How good's that? Yeah. No one misses mowing the grass.
Nah, not at all.
No, there you go. I don't know.
All right, well, we'll finish it on probably one final. Well, we won't finish it on that because who knows what you're bloody doing with everything that's going on. But I guess just to wrap it up, people can jump over to Instagram, follow Trip in a Van, Facebook, Trip in a Van, YouTube series, Trip in a Van. It's all the same. But get over there and have a look. They really are living the dream. It's an absolute inspiration. Anyone you want to thank or anything else that's going on?
Oh, just the likes of yourself, mate. It's good to have like-minded people in the industry. I've had a few beers, by the way. And people you can talk to and throw ideas around. Yeah. And come and do this sort of stuff. It's good to get on and do that. And not only that, all these guys, the audience and stuff. What we do and what every other person does who sort of runs their life through socials and YouTube, you couldn't do it without an audience.
Yeah.
So it's great to have a following and that community, and anyone that wants to answer questions and that, we've got time for everyone. So we try our best to get back to everyone with info and all that, and if you want to know all this stuff, all these questions in your head about travel and stuff, probably the best advice if you want to ask us stuff. Just go back and watch from episode 1 through on YouTube, and most of your questions will be answered throughout the apps. And and if you've still got questions from there, come and hit us up. But
it was probably 2-3 years of advice and tips and tricks and everything on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, there's been a lot from going from a full, amateur, no idea, first caravan. 4 years down the track, and still loving it, and still, just want to keep going with the fam and hit some new spots and show you all about them.
Catch some fish.
Well,
there you go.
That's not going to be the hardest thing. I've got a tinny now. It's going to be a lot of pressure on me to catch some fish.
Yeah, I'll be picking on you.
But anyway, we'll see how we go.
Oh, well, thanks very much for coming on, mate. Look,
cheers,
absolutely. I'm going to need another one. But I tell you what, if you've got any questions for Justin, throw them in the comments below. I'll make sure he jumps on and tries to answer a few. I'll also link all of his pages and YouTube channel, make it nice and easy. If you enjoyed this and you do want to see more of these podcast style episodes, let us know. Like, subscribe, enjoy, stay safe. See you next time. Till then, enjoy the Explore life. Happy days.
Cheers, man.